Hi guys, this is Vishal Malkan and welcome to Tuesday Technical Talk. And I'm excited to share an important topic today about gaps, and we are going to specifically focus on pro gaps. I hope you are loving this series of Tuesday Technical Talk, and I get a lot of comments and a lot of messages that they are loving this series. Even we got some emails, and they also recommend some topics. Last time I had so many recommending topics like candlestick and price patterns and mindset. So I'm going to cover each of them slow and steady, one by one. So don't worry. Today I'm going to talk about something very important and very powerful, which works like magic, and some of the people still don't even know that what it means, and that is we call about gaps. And people are always people when I do live seminars and I do programs, people often ask about does your technical work when there is a gap up or gap down, because then that happens overnight and all night. And for people who don't have any knowledge, I can't even explain them, I can't even justify. But people who know technicals, yes, you can make money in gaps. And you know the what? That once you understand the gap psychology properly, in fact, most of the gaps, if your system is correct, most of the overnight gaps will happen in your favor. So we do certain strategies, like one of our best strategies we follow in Millionaire Trader program is called top bottom strategy, which is a trend following strategy where we make like 2000 to 3000 points in one single trade on Bank Nifty at least 3 times a year. And in that, there are a lot of gap up, gap downs. But you know what? All those gaps are in our favor. Those some of our students are online. They know what we are talking about, especially during February in the month of budget, and there was a big gap down, and then that was in our favor. So let me explain what do you mean by normal gap, which is what we call as the novice gap, and what we mean by pro gap. Okay, so let's look at the charts now. Okay, can you see the chart now? Yes. Okay, so now let's look at some specific examples here. Okay, so let's look at few examples here. Is basically, if you look at this one, there is a gap down. Now, if you look at this black candle before that is a bearish candle, and then there is a bearish candle again. So that what we call as like a normal gap or a novice gap, right? So this is what we call as a novice gap, gap down. Now, so that's type 1 of gap, okay? Now let's look at the second type of gap, what we call as this particular gap. If you see that market closed higher, it opened with a gap and closed lower. This is what we call as exhaustion gap, right? So this is an exhaustion gap, and let's look at some more examples before I get into the pro gaps, okay? Now let me show you this one is okay. Okay, so this is your normal gap down, gap down, gap down. All are normal, no wise gaps. And if you look at this one, which is a white candle, it gapped down and opened up. That's like an exhaustion gap. Now I'm going to talk about the pro gap. Now pro gaps are very powerful. What do you mean by pro gap? Is the gaps by the professionals. So let me explain that what we mean by pro gaps. Now let's see here. In fact, if you look at this one, look at this black candle. Now this black candle, small one, if you look at the previous white candle, it was a strong white close, strong bullish candle, and then it slightly gapped down. Now you can't see the gap on the chart, but there is a gap, right? From the opening, from the closing of the previous day to the opening of the next day, there is a small gap which is against the color, which is white candle and opening down. That means it's a pro gap on the downside. Professional bearish people, professional bear traders. And let me explain the professional bullish candle. Look at this one. See, this is a black candle which is closing at the bottom, and then there is a white candle which slightly opens with a gap up. Now again, notice pro gaps are not always visible or there on the chart. It's the opening to closing to close, closing to next day opening relation, which will make you clear that it's a pro gap. So I look at this closing here, opening here, and then keeps going up. Professional gap. Now this is very, very powerful. After every professional gap, and especially when they are confirmed with an important technical indicator, like in this case, if you see the trend is up and there is a small retracement, and then you look at where is RSI, my favorite, at 60, and then we have a pro gap, and look at the move which produced by the pro gap. That's so powerful, right? If you understand pro gap, if you understand RSI, if you understand the candlestick pattern, that's it. Then you don't need anything extra to make this kind of money which is on the table like this. Not bad, right? From 6,700 to 7,300, which is like almost 10%. And let's see some other stock where we can see some pro gaps. And let's look at Nifty if we have some pro gaps on that. Okay, so let's look at pro gaps. And okay, this is the February gap, which is a big spinning top gap down. This is normal no wise gap, normal no wise gap, no wise gap, all no wise gap. Now let's look at a pro gap if possible. Okay. Yeah, so here we can look at, there is a small pro gap here. If you look at that, this is a black closing, bearish, and then gap up. It's a pro gap, professionals. Here also it is one. It's a small one, very small one. It's a pro gap, and see the effect after that. Now, if you understand RSI again, you understand support and resistance. There is a support here, and there is a pro gap here. There is a white candle, and then there is a divergence. We spoke about divergence last time. I apologize for last Tuesday's technical talk where the video ended abruptly, and I don't know, some technical issue, maybe the internet was not good at the end of the video, so I apologize for that. And but the main concept of divergence was actually covered well, except for a couple of more examples which I showed at the end. Maybe we can catch up again when we do another technical talk on divergence later. All right, so let's see this. At support you have a pro gap and you have a bullish divergence that make, and that next 4 or 5 days, let's look at like a swing trade. Swing trade is between 1 to 5 days, 1 to 7 days. So pro gap produces excellent swing trades to trade, which can be good for option trading also. Now let's see some more pro gaps so it becomes very, very clear. Okay, so this is the next one. See this one. There's a white closing, white candle closing, and next day it gaps down. Now there is no gap on the chart, but there is a closing to opening is called pro gap. Basically, if you want to know what is a pro gap, is if the white candle and if it gaps down, that's pro gap, and if it's a black candle and it gaps up, it's a pro gap. White candle and opening above, no wise candle, a no wise gap, and black candle and opening below, no wise gap. Like again, you see this are no wise gap. 1, 2. What do you mean by no wise? Because after a bad day or after a black day, if it gaps down, there's no surprise, right? Everybody knows it's possible. But after a black day, if it gaps up, that's a pro gap, that's a surprise element. There's a shock element at times, and that makes it, and that's why the professionals are at work, right? So I hope that's one of the most important concepts I teach this pro gap in Star Trader program is what I'm doing here with you guys, right? Again, let's see. Another gap we spoke about was exhaustion gap. So if you see, this is called exhaustion gap, where we closed at high, white candle, previous candle. We gapped up, no wise gap, but the gap did not sustain and came back down, becomes an exhaustion gap. That's another way of looking at the gap. So no wise gap, exhaustion gap, pro gap, and the best and the most powerful is pro gap, which produces very, very powerful swing trade from between 1 to 5 days, and good for option trading also. And we can go much deeper. I can talk about gaps for another 2 hours, but this is one of the basic and the most powerful stuff what we are talking about. So I hope you got lot of value in this video. And now let's talk about that. what we are looking at is, this is my like 15 episodes of Tuesday Technical, 14 or 15, and I want to do it in an advanced level. I suppose whatever I covered so far is more of basic stuff. Now I want to get into some advanced stuff, maybe another couple of them on basic and then get into advanced. So I wanted to comment in the section that which is the next topic you want me to cover in the next Tuesday technical talk, and that is what I will cover in the next one. Whichever comment is more, whichever topic is more often, I will do that in the next Tuesday technical talk. And I also want you to share this video right now. Those who are online right now, all you 40 people, just click the button share right now on this video and make a difference to other people on your timeline. Also go and check my Mad Mondays, which is on the mindset, how you can have good making a difference Mondays. Yesterday only I posted one Mad Monday video. So go and check that. And if you have any particular question, query, or any particular topic to be covered, put that in the comment section and I will see you on next Tuesday for next Tuesday technical talk. Till then, good luck and good trading.